everyone. So today, as you can see, I'm at my house and not at the barn. I do not live at the barn 24/7, but I am going to be talking about something really helpful and interesting today. I'm going to be talking about how you can be more confident as a horseback rider. So when it comes to working with 1,000-pound animals, it's really important that you feel confident and you're also confident in what you're asking of the animal. You know, confidence doesn't happen overnight. I feel like some people are way more confident than others, and if you're one of the people who may not be as confident, you can always build up your confidence and your bravery and get better. So we can always be improving. Before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more weekly horse videos. I also have an Instagram page. I'm just posting more personal things that I'm doing with my horses, so you guys can follow along with that. So my first point for feeling confident around horses and just working with them in general is to first learn how they think and how they react to stuff. So there's a saying that knowledge is power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have in a situation. So if you have knowledge about how horses think and how they react to things, that's going to make you feel more confident when it comes to working with them. So let's talk about a few examples. I'm sure some of you have taken your non-horsey friends out to see your horse and they don't know where to stand so they don't get kicked. They don't know how to feed the horse a treat properly and their fingers may get nipped. And so just these things, even these small things of like knowing how to communicate and act with your horse can go a long way. And you can read body language. And so when you can read your horse's body language, that will actually keep you out of a lot of bad situations. If I can tell my horse is getting peeved about something, that means I can do what's necessary to change the situation and to change their way of thinking. So another way this can make you feel more confident as a horse handler is understanding the ways of a horse. So a horse is a prey animal. They're gonna think as a prey animal thinks. Humans, on the other hand, are predators. So there is a bunch of stuff we do that we don't even realize comes across to the horse as if we are being predators towards them. So once you learn that your horse is a prey animal and learn how to respond to that behavior and how to handle that behavior, it becomes a lot more simpler when it comes to working with your horse. So if you have a spooky horse, it's important to understand why your horse is spooky and scared of everything. And that's just in a horse's instinct to be like that. They're constantly looking for danger and predators that may harm them. As a result, that means they're quick on their feet and they're gonna be really apprehensive about stuff and move quickly if they find that something is gonna harm them or they think it's gonna harm them. And so that's why it's important to work with desensitizing and helping your horse understand that that isn't a danger, that it isn't a predator, that you're not a predator, but that they can trust you and that you're just part of their herd. And so knowing how a horse thinks and knowing how they communicate with you, they can be giving you little cues of like, hey, I don't like that, or I'm a little nervous right now. And when you can recognize those things, it becomes super easy to work with your horse. It's almost as if you're talking their language. Then you can just feel more confident about your horse sense and understanding what your horse is trying to communicate to you. So as you guys probably realize, I am a fanatic about groundwork. I believe it's like the greatest thing on earth to do with your horse. So many great things you can do. And for those of you who don't know, groundwork is basically any training you do on the ground with your horse. So horses are herd animals. That means they can sniff other horses' noses and they communicate with each other at face level, so to speak. As a rider, you want to communicate with your horse on face level to build that bond and that trust before you jump on their back and go gallop off. So groundwork is a great way to start to feel more confident with your horse. You're going to learn how they communicate as an individual. You know, they may be different from another horse, so they're going to communicate a certain way, and it's also going to let you kind of get this rhythm of understanding your horse and your horse understanding you. So groundwork is a great thing to do to help you build confidence. I also feel more confident riding my horse if I can get them to do something on the ground. So let's say a turn on the forehand. If I can get my horse to do a turn on the forehand on the ground, then I'm gonna be more confident when I get in the saddle and I ask them to do it. I know that they've done it before, and so it will help them do it when I'm in the saddle. So if your horse doesn't stop and likes to push past you on the ground, that means when you get on them, they're gonna wanna push past your cues, your rein cues, and just take off. So just things like that where you can work on the ground and correct them on the ground and then it will correlate to in the saddle. Another great thing about groundwork is if you ever feel nervous or in danger being on your horse, you can get off and do groundwork with them to help calm the situation. I've done this a number of times. When I first got my horse Pepper, she was crazy. She loved to rear and stuff like that. So there was a few times in the beginning when I got her when things would start to go bad, so I'd jump off of her and start doing groundwork and take it down a notch. So it was like, you know, groundwork gave us an opportunity to calm down and figure things out on the ground before I got back in the saddle. So just stuff like that is a great thing to remember when it comes to working with horses, and it's also a great way to build your confidence and also your trust in your relationship with your horse. Another way you can feel more confident as a horseback rider is to just ride more frequently. Growing up, I took lessons once a week, and it was hard for me to progress at all because I was only riding once a week. For myself to start really truly feeling confident in the saddle, that happened when I started riding a lot more. I started leasing a horse that I was able to go and ride every day, and just having that ability, it allowed me to learn a lot more quickly, and it also allowed me to just feel more confident because I was getting those training hours in, and I was being able to see what works with the horse and what doesn't, compared to just riding a lesson horse, you know, that's pretty used to everything you do in the ring. I was working with a different horse that wasn't, and so my confidence grew. So riding more frequently is one great way to build your confidence. I know not all of us are able to ride every day. I'm not able to ride every day just because I'm busy with my work and equine massage. I only ride Tucker about like twice or 3 times a week. But if you struggle with confidence, riding a lot more can help build, you know, your bravery and your confidence like that. Alright, this point is important. One way you can become a more confident horseback rider is by getting riding lessons. So we pretty much all start out at riding lessons, just learning the basics of horse care and how to ride correctly and all that stuff. Me personally, once I got my first horse, I stopped getting lessons for a long time, which was not smart at all because I got this new horse that terrified the heck out of me, first of all. And secondly, when you first get your horse, that's when you need lessons. You know, you need an instructor to watch you and give you tips on how to handle this horse better and all that. So, not the best situation, but I'm still here, so I guess, you know, it worked out. I understand, like, financially, we can't all be taking lessons all the time. But you can make a goal of, okay, I want to take lessons in the future, and I'm saving up to take lessons to help me become a more confident rider. But if you're someone who thinks you don't need lessons anymore, I was like that when I was a cocky teenager or whatever, you do need lessons. There's always more stuff to learn when it comes to horses. The world of horses is so vast that it's never ending, and even if you may feel like you don't need lessons, just hearing something from someone else's perspective could help you out. I know I've been in situations where the instructor just said something that made me think differently about what I was asking the horse, and so that opened my mind to then understand a lot more what was happening. And I always feel more confident, and if I have another experienced horse person around and I'm having a difficult time figuring something out with my horse, I feel confident when I can go and talk to someone else about it and work it out together. Alright, another point for how to feel more confident as a horseback rider is to ride many different horses. When you ride many different horses, you're being introduced to a wide range of like attitudes and talents and quirks. When I was 14, I got a fat pony named Bella, and I had never worked with a horse who had the amount of energy she had. She was crazy, but it wasn't like she was crazy bad. She just was very forward and strong, and so in the beginning I didn't really know how to handle that. I had never ridden a horse like that. After I had her a while and I figured out how to ride her and work with her, that became such a great skill to have, because now I can get on horses like that have a ton of energy, and I know exactly what to do to, you know, control it and to direct it in the place it needs to go, rather than just letting the horse freak out and jump up and down and have a, you know, a nightmare of a ride. When you ride a bunch of different horses, you're getting used to a bunch of different quirks and things that horses do, and so that makes it easier for you to get on just any random horse and be able to control it and have a good ride. And there's nothing better than feeling confident when you get on a horse you've never gotten on. I even still struggle with that if I've never gotten on a horse before and it's that time and I can feel my confidence. I'm like, okay, you better not buck me off or we're gonna have a problem. Compared to just getting on and being like, alright, I got this, I know what to do, I can handle this horse. And so those two mindsets are very different, and I want the mindset where I'm confident and cool and calm and collected on a new horse. Another tip for how to be more confident horseback rider is to check your position. Checking your position when you're riding isn't really about being confident. What it's about is faking it until you make it, giving off the essence that you're confident even if you don't feel confident. Let's say I get on a horse and the horse is known to be bad out on trail rides. It likes to take off back to the barn or freak out, rear and buck, and dump the rider and then take off. 9 times out of 10, if someone knows this and you get on this horse and you're out on the trail and suddenly you can tell that the horse's anxiety is building up, naturally you just kind of get in a fetal position. You're gonna hunch forward, you're gonna pull back on the reins, get in the horse's mouth, your knees are gonna squeeze the side of the horse. Suddenly it's just a mess. You're getting anxious, the horse is getting anxious. It's probably not gonna end well. So this was my horse Pepper when I first got her. This is something I had to learn to deal with. She would have these freak out moments, and when I would start feeling her getting anxious or tense, I would start to tense up. My shoulders would drop forward, my chest would drop forward. I'd subconsciously be pulling on the reins and squeezing with my legs at the same time, and so it just wasn't a good situation. I wasn't feeling confident in myself, I wasn't feeling confident in my horse. Usually it ended badly. One thing you can do if you're in this situation is just take a second to just relax and check your position. So this is what I had to learn with Pepper. When she would start to get anxious, instead of me bunching up and getting really stressed on her, I would breathe deep, sit back, put my heels down, you know, not have pressure on my reins, and just relax. And believe it or not, once I did that, the horse relaxed. And so if the horse is feeling you getting anxious, that's gonna make them feel more anxious. But when you feel more confident and you relax and are more confident with your posture, the horse will do the same thing. So let's talk about jumping. I did have someone ask me, how can you be more confident over jumps with your horse? If I have a bad refusal with my horse or I fall off at a jump, I'm gonna be a lot less confident going up to the next jump, you know? But one thing I try and do is, instead of seeing the jump coming towards me and leaning forward and start to brace and expect the horse to stop, what I'm gonna do is sit up, put my heels down, leg on, eyes up, and I'm just gonna ride them forward. And even though I may not feel confident that the horse is going over the jump, when I ride them forward and they feel the confidence in my seat and in the way I'm riding, they're more likely to go over the jump. You can alter your position and your posture on your horse to help them feel more confident through your seat and help you to come across more confident even if you're not confident. And I know this sounds crazy, but it really works. I can't tell you how many times I've had something just not going well, and I took a minute to see what my posture was communicating to my horse, and I'm like, oh, well, my posture is communicating to my horse that they need to stop at the jump or they need to be freaking out. So let me change it and see what it does for the situation. And so that has really helped me. Okay, this is a great one. You can be more confident by going back to the basics. As always, the basics with anything is important, and if you don't know the basics, then it's hard to move forward correctly. There are these basic things that go into horseback riding that you will use no matter what you're doing with your horse. So steering, stopping, using your seat, using your leg, using your reins, you know, just these ways to communicate with your horse that, you know, you not only use when you first get on your horse the first time ever, but also way down the line when you're doing some extreme dressage, you know? So it's important to know the basics. But another great thing is, let's take jumping for example, because we were just talking about that. If you're not feeling confident jumping, then maybe it's because you missed something when you were learning the basics of jumping. So the best thing for you to do is go back to the basics, you know, jump some cross rails, do some grid work, and start feeling confident with that again before you move on and you raise the jumps. I've done that many a times, and if my horse is struggling over jumps and stuff like that, I always lower them, go back to the basics, make sure we're getting our striding, make sure my position's right, make sure my horse is feeling confident, and once I have all that stuff figured out, then I progress, I'll get off, raise the jumps, set up a scary jump, you know, just stuff like that. The last thing you want to do is frustrate your horse by continuing to push them even if they're not confident and you're not confident. Okay, so here's my last point for how to be more confident when riding your horse. This is a very simple one, but it's simply just have fun. I know you're probably like, yo, this is cliche, but it's so important. If you think about your mindset when it comes to riding, the times I find myself feeling less confident and feeling frustrated is when I'm pushing myself too hard and I'm pushing my horse too hard, and then it just starts to go downhill. But when I'm having fun, I feel confident with my horse. When I'm just like galloping around the field and I have the wind in my hair and I'm laughing, I'm having fun. When I'm just doing a fun course with my friends and we're just, you know, cracking jokes, see who can jump the highest, I'm having fun. And so when you're having fun, it's really about how you carry yourself and like what your horse feels coming from you. If you're having fun, you're confident, you're brave, you're just like, let's go, you know? And so you're gonna ride them a lot better compared to if you're not having fun and you're frustrated and you're a little bit scared. And so you're gonna have a completely different approach, and your horse can pick up on all of this. That's part of them being a prey animal, is that they can just pick up on what you are subconsciously doing or thinking. They're just like, okay, this person is not confident. So I hope this video helped you guys. I hope it made sense, because I just feel like I rattled on forever. But keep watching our channel. We have a fun video coming up. It's about some great fun groundwork exercises you can do. If y'all have ways that you help yourself to become a more confident rider, comment them down below. As always, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more weekly horse videos.